Hello and welcome back to another episode of Winging It Waterfowl. I'm your host, Troy Miller. With me, as always, is my main man, Blake.
What's up,
And then,
guys?
and then tonight we have special guest, Cohl Lothamer with Stampfowl Outfitters. How's
Yes,
it
sir.
going?
How we do? It's going pretty well. How are you doing?
Doing great. Appreciate you coming on tonight.
Yeah, my pleasure.
So, go ahead, Cohl, tell us a little bit about who you are, where you're from, what you do. Give us kind of the rundown on there.
Okay. Well, my name is Cohl Lothamer. I run a guide service here in Northeast Indiana, based out of Fort Wayne, Indiana. We do waterfowl and turkey hunts mostly on the weekends. I'm a full-time electrician, so my guiding is mostly on the weekends right now until we kind of scale up our business a little bit, so we can actually do it full time. Hopefully, that's the goal.
So, how long have you been doing the guiding?
So I started guiding in 2023. That's when I started my business. Started it with a buddy. He ended up going off and starting his own real estate thing. So now it's just me doing it. So I'm a one-man operation, but I'm very passionate about waterfowl. Got into it pretty heavy as a kid and kind of just took off and ran with it. So been chasing it pretty hard these past few years, and I'm trying to build something with it, and ideally I want to chase a career that I love. I want to be motivated every day and it's something I love. So I'm going to do my best to get it somewhere.
Yes, sir. So, what made you decide to get into guiding?
Well, honestly, so I've always hunted with family, a couple friends. Starting out, we used to kind of just show up at random places. We would go to places we seen birds. I mean, when I first started hunting, we'd go to places where we knew there'd be ducks, so we wouldn't even set out decoys. We would just go there and show up, and if they showed up and presented themselves, we'd shoot what we can. And but it turned into all my friends and family. There was and even random friends I'd meet along the way that I would share my passion about waterfowl. They were always contacting me, wondering where we're hunting, where the birds are, yada yada yada. So I ended up kind of taking on that role of being the one to do the scouting, to do the door knocking, and it kind of just grew from there. I really enjoy taking people out. I love waterfowl hunting and everything that comes along with it. I love the camaraderie of everybody and the environment. You don't have to take it as seriously as deer hunting. You're not worried about sound as much. You're not worried about your scent, which way the wind. I mean, you're worried about which way the wind's flowing, but it's it's a lot more. I don't know how you say. Just I enjoy it a lot more, honestly. So
Yes, sir. Yeah, so how'd you get into hunting in general?
so how I got into hunting, my dad got me into it when I was a little kid. Started off rabbit hunting actually, and then ended up getting a bow, got a tree climber, started deer hunting, taking that pretty seriously, and I did that for a few years and was super serious about it. Through that, I got into turkey hunting, and then got my first shotgun when I think I was 11. And then my dad took me to a little river spot and on some public, and we got into some wood ducks pretty good. And after that, I was hooked.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's what got me into it, and I'm super thankful I had my father to push me into that direction. Because some people, they don't have that, and you have a couple good buddies that'll get you into it.
Yes, sir. So, does your dad still hunt with you and everything?
He does, not as often as I like to admit. I took him out once this year. We killed one goose and one mallard out of a field. It was a slow day, but here in Indiana, we don't really get any snow geese, at least where I am. We hardly see them ever. It's maybe once every couple years you'll see a few. But I prayed to God that we'd have a fun and exciting hunt, and the first two birds that flew over were two random snow geese at about 50 yards up, and they worked past us and went about their way, but it was cool. So yeah.
That's what I went hunting Sunday. And that's all we heard up in the sky were snow geese and cracklers the whole time. I mean, they
That's
they
awesome.
are they're moving south for sure.
Yeah, for sure. They don't seem we didn't, I was thinking about it after the fact, and my cousin was out there and I kept telling him, I was like, man, I was like, I wish I would have just brought some white trash bags. We could have tied them to corn stalks and maybe that would have turned those snows. Because I've never shot a snow goose.
Yeah.
So I was, I don't know, it was pretty cool. It's different experience for us
Yeah.
where we are.
I don't really ever see many snows around here. We have a ton of Canadas, but
Yeah.
my
Yeah. We
area,
get a ton
I've
of
seen
Canada's as well.
I've seen a couple snows this year, but not really. You know, we get a few, I think, strays here and there, but we don't really have a ton of them move through this area that I've ever seen.
Right.
So, what do y'all mostly target in your area?
So mostly for us, it's Canadas and mallards and wood ducks, and then late season we'll get heavier pushes of Canadas, and then we'll get like a bunch of migratory mallards, and then with those different species of birds will show up. I mean, when we get our first few cold fronts, we'll have divers show up. We'll get a lot of bluebills, a lot of golden eyes, hooded mergansers, and uh, and then we'll get some other cool puddle ducks push in as well. Sometimes we'll get not a lot, but a few pintail, a few widgeon. Uh, every now and then we'll get some black ducks in. But for the most part, our local birds are mostly mallards, wood ducks, and Canada geese.
Okay.
Yep.
Man, I didn't think that you'd get many black ducks over there. I figured y'all are a little too far
Hardly
west.
at all. I've been seeing them. Last year I seen them right after season went out, just a few with some big groups of mallards. But this year I actually hunted one of my spots and had some mallards come through and a black duck was with them and I ended up getting the chance to harvest my first black duck. So pretty
That's
excited about
awesome.
that. Uh, Probably going to be getting him on the wall this year. So I'm excited.
Yeah, that'd be definitely one to mount.
Yeah, he was beautiful. He was super beautiful. And actually, like I said, I've seen him in the past, but I've never seen him during season or at any of my spots. Where I've seen him is mostly like certain areas where it's kind of you can't really get into it because the people that hunt it are family related to the owner, and then the other pieces of property that are linked to that area in specific is all leased out, and the amount that they lease it for a year. So I went farting around there once, some younger cat trying to slip into a spot and get permission, but they told me that it was leased out for a pretty high number that was nowhere in my scope of range. So I just pushed down further down that migratory route and actually ended up killing my first pintail a couple years ago from that, just watching patterns and seeing which way they're mostly migrating. So that's pretty cool as well.
Yeah, smart way to do it.
Yes, I mean really that's all you can do.
So, do you hunt? Is what you do? Do you do private only, or do you do some public land as well? How does
Yeah,
your
we'll
outfit work?
do so our guide service is all on private. We do hunt public, but not as a guide service. I mean, if I have some clients come in, they pay me for a day, then we'll go hunt private that whole day. And then I might do a buddy hunt with them the next day where we'll just go show up to a random spot depending on what the birds are doing. If the birds slow down in one spot, we might go hit an old plan B spot, and see where that takes us. But we hunt some public, but mostly it's all private.
Okay. Now, did you get into that just from guiding, or is that kind of a connection you already had beforehand,
What would that be?
like the private land?
The private land. So it kind of came along with guiding and me taking waterfowl hunting more seriously, really me just chasing the birds, seeing where they are, scouting. They all ended up being on private. And then one day I kind of just had to uh be brave and go knock on a door and I got turned down a lot, but I kept pushing on and got my first few yeses. And then after that, it wasn't no stopping me. I mean, I get turned down all the time, but I get quite a few yeses as well. Constantly looking for them and chasing the feather. So
Yes, sir.
wherever the feather goes, where I'm going.
Good deal. So what kind of hunting land are y'all doing? Are y'all doing rivers, swamps, lakes, ag
So
land?
a lot of it is rivers. It's mostly rivers, big ponds. We got like a lot of cornfields, cut wheat fields. We have cut bean fields we hunt and have access to, but mostly it's cornfields. And then our early goose will do a lot of like early cut silage fields, which most time is cut corn, and then we'll hit like some cut wheat fields as well. Or they'll come in with a cover crop after, and it'll be like clover, and then we'll go hunt those spots as well. And that's pretty productive for geese. For ducks, it's all rivers, ponds, and some cattle ponds here and there.
Y'all have big river, or is it kind of more stream rivers that y'all hunt?
We got a few, but I wouldn't call them big. It's nothing like the Ohio River big. Um, Hunting rivers that are anywhere from 60 yards wide to 100 yards wide, mostly.
Yeah, everything
That's
that we're
big
used
from
to
where we
is
came from.
big.
How
If you
big
can,
we talking?
if you can't jump across it in one bound, then it's a river.
Yeah, we don't have much water
water.
in the panhandle where we grew up.
Yeah, the big one was Sweetwater Creek, and it was at some wide spots you might have a little trouble jumping across it, and then the Canadian River
Right.
or the Red River, if there's water in it, you're lucky. But
Well, that's cool. So you guys hunt a lot of fields as well then, where you
um,
are? Or...
well, I mostly do. My public is mostly big water,
Okay.
and then playas. We have a lot of playas, but it's just depending on the year. So I don't know. We call them playas here. They're kind of like little potholes. It just
Okay.
depends. Yeah, just little low spots. We call them playa lakes around here, and it depends on the year. Like there's some years where we don't have any water, and then there's other years where we have tons of water. So, but man, it's weird because like this year, the big water that I'm hunting is way up, and then all the playas that should have had water don't have water. So, and then last year they had water, but we shouldn't have had water. So
Right.
it's tricky around here. It all comes down to like what they're doing ag wise as well on a lot of it.
Yeah, and I'm sure that can make it tricky too, because old patterns of birds change, and
Yeah,
you're constantly adapting to.
I'm really trying every year to figure out what the water levels are going to do with these plies, and every time I think I have it figured out, it does something completely different. Like one place that I have on private is dried up this year, but everything that was dry last year has water. So it doesn't make sense. I don't know.
Yeah, sounds like it.
It's
Funny
it's
how that
also
works.
hard to get permission too. I mean, it's harder now than it used to be up there where he's at, because I mean, it's just there's so many outfitters in the panhandle that are trying to get permission. Or, I mean, there's not a lot, but the ones that are there already
They're big.
they're big. They have everything locked down.
Yeah, which
That's
I mean
what.
makes sense.
Yeah, me and Troy were saying we should have started this a lot young. About 10 or 15 years ago, we probably would have been doing what we're doing. Jobs we are now would have been guiding, because we would have had a lot of fields locked down.
Right. Or maybe you have your own duck impoundment or something
Yeah.
if everything went well. Yeah, and a lot of areas I've noticed are different. You drive a couple hours south, and a lot of the properties are leased up. Around where we are, they might not be leased up, or there might be a couple leases here and there. But the tricky part for us is coexisting with people who deer hunt, and trying to be respectful to them and what they're chasing. And landowners can get tricky or touchy about that. And some people are really open to it, and as long as you're considerate, and, if there's one or two guys hunting a spot, might be able to snag their phone number and communicate with them so you're not stepping on anybody's toes.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a lot in this area that we run into is it's big whitetail and it's big turkey.
Right.
So there's not a lot of waterfowl hunters. There's really not. I mean, this is a very big goose flyway area for Canada's, but just waterfowl in general, there's really not a lot of draw to it, not a lot of hunters. So when I try to get permission or anything like that, they're like, oh, no, they're not interested in duck hunters or anything like that. They've got deer hunters,
Yeah.
turkey hunters, stuff like that they, leasing it out to, and they don't want to, I'm sure they don't want to mess with possibly messing any of that up because that is a big cash income for a lot of these guys.
Oh yeah, for sure.
And so they're just not familiar with waterfowl hunting because, I mean, they're like, why would you want to go out and do that? This is not a waterfowl hunting area. So,
Yeah. But little do they know.
Yeah.
If you're in them, you're in them.
Yeah. Like, I've been covered up for the last week in everything, trying to get permission on a couple different spots. I'm having trouble getting landowner information, but man, I was like, man, it's going to be good. And then we froze up for like 4 days straight and got real cold and everything. Got out Saturday and everything had pushed out. So my Saturday was not great. I got one merganser, which I'm not complaining about because it was my first merganser. I was like, now I can knock that one off.
Yeah,
So,
that's cool. Was it a drake or a hen?
It was a drake.
Was it hooded or a common?
Just common. He wasn't real
common.
Pretty.
Yeah,
He's pretty ugly.
they're different looking birds, that's for sure.
Yeah, and then I knocked one mallard down, and he got over there in the deep water up there, just a little over, not quite chest deep, but a little under. And me and my dog went over there, and he dove under in some thick stuff where it was real deep and everything. And we looked for 15, 20 minutes, could never find him, never saw him come back up. And then it was so cold. Took the dog back, put her back in her stand, and I took my kayak, went and got it out of the brush, and went over there for another 20, 30 minutes, never found him. So that was my morning. It was one of those mornings that just kept getting colder and colder.
Yeah.
Because we had no ice on the water. And then whenever I got out there, and then as the morning's going on, everything just kept freezing more and more. And I was like, I'm done. One merganser is not worth it.
How's y'all's weather up there?
So actually, a bunch of our water is locked up as well. The only thing you're gonna have open water on is a couple rivers, couple of like smaller creeks and stuff that have shallow water with ripples, keeping it open. And then we got a couple of roost spots that birds are keeping the water open, but that's about it. But we locked up probably a few days, probably about 6 days ago now, for the most part, which pushed a lot of our birds out. It's all right. But we had a bunch of birds.
Y'all don't want that, but we sure do like it when y'all lock up.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah, because all our birds go to you guys. That's all right. I don't shoot the banded ones. I let them come to you. Just me being nice.
Yeah, that was my problem Saturday. Is I think that one was banded.
Yeah, probably was.
That's why
it's
I
always
lost
the
that
ones you
mallard.
don't find. Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, we hunted Saturday at a big spot, and man, the birds weren't moving. I mean, there was a lot of shooting, which there's a lot of wood ducks over here and over in Louisiana too. But we saw probably, I'd say, 3,000 to 6,000 canvasbacks.
Wow, that's awesome.
So yeah, there was a bunch. I mean, there's a lot of canvasbacks in that area. So, but they were sitting out in the middle of where we were, where you can't get to them, and big old rafts. So
yeah. So are canvasbacks as good as an eater as everyone says they are?
I don't like eating them that much. I'd rather eat a wood duck than anything any day.
Yeah, the wood ducks are pretty tasty. Them and mallards, especially on a grill.
Pintail's pretty tasty.
Yeah, I haven't eaten pintail in a while, so kind of mixed in with the rest of them to me.
Yeah, I've got so many pintail here. Like, it is crazy the amount of pintail I have here, but they are hard to get on because they do not like big water around here. They like
so what do you mostly
puddles.
Okay, I was wondering what you mostly hunt them, or what kind of water you're hunting them over then.
Yeah, they like those real shallow playas. I mean, if it's anything over there, it seems like anything above their feet, they're not a big fan of. They like the real shallow stuff. It seems like around here. That's where I
Kind
always
of
find them at.
like a teal.
Yeah, a
Yeah.
Seems
lot
like
like it.
teal are the
Yeah,
same way.
they're mixed in with the teal all the time. Like there's a couple places that I kind of keep an eye on, and man, there's it'll be hundreds of pintails and teal all mixed in together.
That's awesome. Pintail are such a beautiful bird. They're
They
super
are.
cool. We really don't get a whole lot of pintails around here. The only time I ever see them is like late season when we get a bunch of migrating mallards in, and I'll see a scratch of them mixed in with the mallards. But for the most part, we don't really get a whole lot of mallard, or we don't really get a whole lot of pintails or widgeons. It's always just a few. But we got a lot of
Yeah,
mallards here.
that's good.
Yeah,
So
a lot of people love mallards.
what kind of hunting do y'all do up there? Do y'all do pit blinds, or do y'all brush in, or do y'all have
No,
layouts?
so mostly it's like layouts and A-frames. For the most part, layouts. And then when we're hunting water on the edges, we'll brush in our A-frames as well. But we utilize layouts the most. We don't have access to any properties with pit blinds. We're not that big yet. Ideally, in a few years, if we continue to grow, we're looking to expand. We'd like to possibly create something like that. Maybe buy a property and dig in a pit blind on a good spot that is like a migratory pit stop every year. You always have those couple of spots that seems like when the first few cold fronts hit, they fill up, you know.
Yeah. Do y'all have any refuges or anything like that? WMAs up there in your area?
Uh, Around where I am, there's public you can hunt. There's big public marshes, and there's like public rivers that go through those marshes that you can hunt. And there's one refuge in mind that I'm thinking about, but it's like a bird sanctuary. You can't hunt it,
Yeah,
but they
that's what I was
roost
meaning.
there. Yeah, and then you can watch them in the morning and see where they go,
Yeah, I
and
didn't know if you
follow
had
them and
anywhere
try
that
to.
like kind of hemmed them all up, that when everything got pressured up there or not.
Yeah, there's a couple spots, but all you can really do is just kind of pay attention to it and try to find out where they go and make your moves based on that. So,
Yes, sir. Do y'all
so,
run any dogs?
so I have one. She's a rookie. This is her first year hunting. Uh, it's actually my first bird dog. She only has, I think, she's only retrieved like 22 birds this year, and they've all been different. Sometimes she'll bring them all the way back to me. Sometimes she'll take them 10 feet from me and kind of nose them on the ground. And I'm still working her, but she's getting better and better.
Are you training her yourself?
Yeah, yeah, I am. I just kind of watch certain videos and just apply what they teach.
Yeah.
Like Lone Duck is one of the guys I watch. I like the kind of things he teaches, and I've implemented that to some of my dog, and she's been doing pretty good. So for the most part right now, it's like impulse control, trying to keep her steady, trying to keep her in her blind where she don't get excited and kind of scoot out, hook off a couple of birds. We've had a couple times where I've taken her out this year and she's gotten a little excited and flared a couple big groups of birds. But you'll have that, you just got to be patient and work with them. And it's
She
super
make
cool
any
though.
she make any noise in the blind?
She'll whine a little bit, but it's only like if we get like a blue heron to fly next to us, she's all about it. But it's not like she can do nothing with it. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, like if the bird hits the ground or we start shooting, she'll whine because she knows it's her turn. But she used to whine a bunch when she was a puppy, but man, she's really shaped out of that for the most part. It's only when she knows it's her turn she'll get a little antsy. Other than that, she's pretty good.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, that's a big difference when they sit there steady like that.
Yeah, it's super cool to watch them improve too, because you try to make your corrections and sometimes they listen and you just got to stay consistent with it. And then it seems like she responds better and better. the more I try to correct her. So yeah, I'm pretty proud of her. She's had a couple good retrieves this year. Took her out a week ago when it was super cold, and I only shot 3 mallards, but it was just me and her. Super cool hunt, and she retrieved all of them. And man, it was cold. I kind of, I'm still new to hunting a dog, so hunting a dog in cold weather, I'm still learning the ins and outs of. Make sure she stays safe. But she did really good, so I'm proud of her.
Yeah, this Saturday whenever I went out, got down to about 18, and I was like, yeah, we were going through the snacks for my pup. I was like
Yeah,
trying to keep that metabolism going, keeping her warm,
right,
all kinds of duck
right.
jerky. So
Snack sticks.
yeah, I kept her in the kayak as much as possible. That was the first thing I did was set up her stand, get her in that, and so that was
Right,
my main goal, was keeping her out of the water as much as possible, unnecessarily.
right. Yeah, I try to do the same for my for Bear. That's my dog's name.
What kind of
So
dog is it?
she's a black lab. She actually has a little bit of border collie in her, believe it or not. But she's super prey driven. She's super, super ambitious about hunting. Like she's super focused. I mean, one of the coolest things about it so far, just me being new and having a dog or a bird dog, is just like watching her during the hunts, because like sometimes it might be kind of slow and you look over at your dog and they're just like laser focused on something, and they'll point out a group of birds that you might not have seen yet, or maybe there's a deer in the tree line shaking a tree or something. But yeah,
Yeah, that's a bunch. I can always tell. I'm not paying attention very well. My dog name's Wiley, and
yeah,
I can tell when there's some birds coming in that I don't see that he sees, because, I mean, he perks up kind of quick because he's very laid back in the blind. Like, he will lay his head down. He just lays there. He don't walk around. He knows his one spot, and he's gonna sit there the whole time and pretty much enjoy it. But when he see birds come in, or he can hear them, he kind of he don't get excited where he like jumps around, but he'll pick his head up, start watching, because he knows. So
that's super cool. He's a good indicator. You got to keep an eye on him as well as
yes,
the sky, right?
yeah.
That's super cool.
So, with the guiding business, you were saying you were wanting to kind of try to move that towards full time. Do you have anything kind of set up to try to get everything moving, or is just kind of a timeline of trying to get a clientele built up?
So for the most part, yeah, it's me just trying to get my client base built up. Me trying to get out as much as I can to scout, so I keep my clients on fresh birds. This in hopes that they'll return next year. Maybe they'll go home and be like, "Oh, I hunted with a newer guide service, but we had a ton of fun." We shot a 3-man limited mallards on a tiny ditch next to a watermelon field. That's one thing we had this year that was super cool. Kind of hope that I don't know, I do my best and I put in my work in hopes that it keeps growing, and it has been. Last year I didn't have a whole lot of clients, but I was still figuring out the whole marketing thing to get my name out there. Um, this year it's kind of picked up a bit. Last year I think I had like 6 clients, pretty slow. This year I've already had over 25 clients. Well, I've had quite a few guys come out, and we've got on some birds. We've had a couple slow hunts, but we have a lot of fun. We get to know each other. We sit out there and drink some coffee and talk about where everyone's from, what it's like hunting where they're hunting. It's a lot of fun, and I'm gonna do my best to get better and better at it, and hopes that it keeps growing, because ultimately that is my goal. I really want to do this full time, because if you can dedicate more time to getting out and scouting more, your clients are going to have a better experience. The more ducks you're going to get on, or geese, or whatever, turkeys. So, yeah.
So on the with the clients, do you have a limit of how many you take, or do you have a number that you have to meet before you
So
take anyone out? How do you handle that?
for the most part, it's me, just whoever I can get to book at the moment. I only have like X amount of layout blinds, so I try to keep it around 4 clients per party if I book that many. Um, but as I keep growing, I'll invest more into more blinds and hopefully get a trailer soon. I've been rocking a old Chevy truck, filling the bed up to the brim with decoys and blinds and driving that out to the fields that I can drive in, and I've been making that work. But plan on getting a trailer here soon and a couple more blinds so we can have some more guys per party. And yeah, so
What kind of decoy setup do you use? Do you use kind of I guess, big setups, or do you run small, medium, a lot
I
of
mostly
motion?
run I mostly run small medium, yeah, with some motion, a couple spinners, depending, because sometimes ducks around where we are, I mean, spinners work pretty good early season, but it seems like as the season goes on, they get real smart and real touchy about them. Like, I mean, some ducks will see spinners and they'll fly the opposite way because they're so used to getting shot over them. It seems like they associate. I've kind of come to learn, it seems like some ducks are starting to associate spinners with, like, I don't know, danger and pressure. So it's kind of it's a tricky game, tricky challenge. You're always adapting to try to set up what the birds like. But for the most part, we're hunting over a lot of, or not a lot, but like a couple dozen full bodies, and we'll throw out some silhouettes depending on what the feed looks like. If we're trying to get a feed or replicate a feed that has a lot of birds in it, then we'll scatter out a bunch of silhouettes in the back, stuff like that. So, but I don't know. I've also had a couple hunts where we threw out a bunch of silos, and it seems like some of the birds will get over them, and they're not liking what they see, and they'll fly the other way. So for the most part, I really like hunting over full bodies, with some light calling depending on how they're reacting. But full bodies seem to do the trick the best now for me, at least where we are.
Yes, sir.
So do you
What
focus more on the geese side or the duck side?
For fields, it's mostly geese, and then we'll get some ducks following the geese in, and sometimes the migrators really like the fields, but our local birds, ducks, they are mostly interested in water.
do y'all hit the rivers pretty hard once everything starts freezing up, or do y'all
Oh
pretty much
yeah,
just move to fields?
the mostly rivers. Yeah, we'll hit our little ice holes, and we'll find out where they are, and then we'll go sit in there. Or if they're roosting there, we'll kind of let them leave a little bit and get in, slip in there, and hit them on the way back. Try to get out of there as soon as we can after we have shot what we want to shoot. But also do a lot of this time of year, the fields actually do pretty well, especially the cornfields with some snow in them. The birds really like getting in them, and some spots, water that is open has a lot of hunters on it. Yeah, even if you don't have permission or you're not hunting it, good chance someone else will be. So we'll go out and try to hit some fields as well, just to try to get out there and kill some ducks, kill some geese.
Now,
But
do
yep,
you do turkey in the fall as well, or do you stick mostly to turkey in the spring?
just turkey in the spring. That's what I do. When it comes to the fall, we're chasing ducks and geese.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've shot a few here and there during deer season. I mean, when season's open, I've poked a few with my bow in the past few years, couple hands, couple toms. But for the most part, I really, really love turkey hunting in the spring. So much fun, man. I don't know, just the whole calling aspect. I love like hunting them from the ground. I mean, if I have an older client, we might set up a little ground blind or something. But for the most part, we're kind of getting around, chasing after them, trying to call them in, making moves to get closer and get them to work towards us. But for the most part, our turkey hunts are all off the ground, sitting off up against trees and trying to get them to work into us. And that is a ton of fun. I love, love, love turkey hunting.
Yeah. What kind of turkey do y'all have up there? What all
We got
breeds?
Easterns.
Easterns?
Yep. No Rios or Merriams or nothing like that. I'd have to go to another state to get on those, but our Easterns, I mean, they're just as much fun, you know. You get a lot of smart ones too. That's one thing I learned. You know, I actually heard this old saying when I was a kid, and this I had this older cat kind of mentor me into turkey hunting because my dad got me into it, but I met this other guy and he took me a few times and he was real big into turkey hunting. He told me, he said, what he say? He said, a deer thinks a man is a tree, but a turkey thinks a tree is a man. That's kind of silly, but I mean, if you hunt some turkeys that are smart, you know, and they've seen pressure, it makes a lot of sense because they got really good eyesight. And some say if a turkey could smell, you'd never be able to kill them. But
Yeah.
turkey hunting, yeah, I love it, man. I kind of got into it pretty heavy when I was a kid, and I chase it pretty hard every year. So I'm real excited to get some few more guys out, as many guys as I can get out on some turkeys. And you know, it's just another awesome outdoor activity to get people out in and enjoy and share the love and the passion that I got for it.
So with you kind of doing the pursuit of them, mostly, you were saying, do you use decoys or anything?
sometimes, yeah, I'll throw out a couple hens or a couple jakes, but a lot of times, for the most part, I've had the most success where, I mean, I'll take a decoy and then I won't even end up using it because I'm constantly moving. You know, you get toms that are just following hens around all day and they're just kind of responding, but they're focused on their hens. And then midday they might break off and come check you out. But for the most part, I mean, if I got a bird that's in a field every day, you know, he roosts in the same spot, then yeah, we might get it sneak in as close as we can to him and set up a couple decoys and work them in. And that's work too. But a lot of times we're kind of just going into spots where we know there's birds and, you know, just listen for a little bit and try to get close. And if they come toward us, we'll call them in. Sometimes successful, sometimes people miss shots and we're stuck scratching our heads and looking for the next bird. So
What is
yeah,
y'all's turkey season in the spring look like up there? Is it pretty long or
uh,
is
it,
it a
it's
quick
only
pace?
about it's kind of quick. It's only about 3 to 4 weeks long. It runs about third week of April to the second week of May. About 3.5 weeks long.
What is y'all's waterfowl season usually run up there?
Uh, so our first waterfowl season usually opens up about third week of October, runs till early December, and then it cuts off. Actually, last Sunday, duck just went out. We're in the North Zone here in Indiana. So it went out on the 7th. It'll come back in on the 20th, and then it goes out on the 28th. However, we don't live too far from the central zone because we're set up in zones. So it kind of keeps going as you go south. But the second split for the central zone has already opened back up and is going to be open till January 10th. And
Oh,
that's
so
only
that's a
about
significant extra
yeah,
amount of
it's
time.
only about 30 minutes to the south. Well, 30, 45 minutes to the south of where I live. So I got picked up a couple pieces of property down there as well to guide on this year. So this way, for the next couple weeks, I can't duck hunt up here. We can goose hunt, but if we want to go get on some more ducks, we'll be pushing down there and hitting some river spots. And yeah, we're
Be awesome.
excited for that.
Yeah. Has y'all's weather outlook been pretty decent this year, or y'all kind of battling the ups and downs like everyone else?
It's been actually it was kind of warm at the first couple weeks, and then it just gradually started getting colder. Then we got that snow like about a week ago. Everything started locking up. Right before we got the snow, we had a bunch of mallards show up. We got um a big bird sanctuary uh pretty close to where I live. Excuse me. And every year I keep eyes on that because that kind of helps me regulate what the migrations looking like. We have a bunch of migratory ducks show up, a bunch of geese show up, and now the majority of those ducks have left since we got locked up here and everything's froze. And a bunch of geese are still hanging around. And I mean, there's a few ducks that are still hanging out too, but they don't have a lot of water to hang out or roost in. So it kind of pushed a bunch of our ducks south.
Does
But we
y'all's
should get another wave.
goose season go into the into January, February area, or do y'all close out pretty soon too?
It goes into February, thank goodness.
Do y'all keep a lot of residentials up there?
We do, yes. We got a lot of geese that actually hang out almost till early spring where everything starts kind of thawing out, and then they'll go back and head back north to wherever or their nesting grounds are. And but it seems as time goes on and these geese, they get smart. They get pretty used to pressure. You know, you just got to stay on their new feeds, and you know, you'll change up the way you call at them. Sometimes you won't call at them, and they'll come in. And I don't know, geese can be really finicky. Um, I love it though. I love the challenge of them because sometimes they totally commit and they do everything you want, and then it seems like some days you just feel like you don't know what you're doing. You know, I mean, they can be really smart birds, and I don't know. It's a lot of fun, man. I love goose hunting. I love the challenge of all of it. You know, it's like a constant puzzle I'm trying to solve. So
And you said it's all, you don't get any snows. Do you get anything else other than Canada's goose wise up there?
we'll get a few lessers, but they're all mixed in with Canada's.
Yeah.
And then late season, you might see a few specks show up with some Canadas, and then you'll get a few snows. But for the most part, it's all Canada geese. I mean, I've heard, let me think, about 2 hours to the west of us, like northwestern Indiana. There's a couple of areas up there where they get a lot of specks, and then they get a few snows show up as well. But we are in the northeast corner of Indiana. So for us, it's mostly all Canada's. I mean, this year I've actually seen quite a few snows. Like a couple weeks ago, we were talking. I said we had two buzz our decoy spread, and then 2 days later, I was coming out of a spot after hunting, and I saw a group of like 100 snow geese flying south. Actually flying southwest towards those areas I was just talking about. But yeah, it's mostly Canada's here for us, at least. I haven't really pushed over to the west. I kind of hunt in like about an hour diameter, Fort Wayne, Indiana, maybe an
Okay.
hour and a half. But
What's your scouting look like? Are you mostly road scouting, or do you do any with boat or hiking in or anything like that?
it's a lot of hiking in, a lot of road scouting. I've picked up quite a few properties where I've seen birds over the years, and a lot of times I'm driving all the heck around and checking on my spots. A lot of the spots I have to walk into. Some of them I can drive into, but I'm not driving up to where I think the birds are, because if they are in there, I'm really not trying to let them know I'm there, keeping an eye on them.
Yes, sir. That's
But even, I mean, sometimes those spots are slow, so I'll just pick a random spot and where I think they could be, and I'll drive out towards those areas. And if I find them, I'll do as much door knocking as I can to try to get on spots. A lot of the spots are, oh, this guy hunts it, or this guy hunts it, or this, that, and the third. So sometimes I'll try to get over in those areas and see if they're roosting there, or if it's like a loping spot, you know, and I'll try to pick an in between spot of where they're going. And sometimes you can find a field or a little piece of water that's under one of their routes, you know, that no one's really worried about. And you can get into those spots and do pretty good and traffic them in.
so that was going to be my next question: is if you're able to traffic them, or if they're pretty dead set on their feeds and loafs and
Yeah,
roost areas.
they can be. The locals definitely are, yeah. But later season, the migratory birds, when they come in, they'll kind of do whatever. Some of them are like lost puppies, you know, they're just looking for a place to put down. Those
Yes,
are
sir.
the fun ones. They just do what you want.
Do you have any kind of like 5-year plan or anything for Stampfowl?
Um, a little bit of one, yes. So we are looking to expand for like-minded individuals, people that maybe want to join, or we're thinking about maybe hiring a guide or two for next year and seeing how that goes. I mean, that'll come along with, you know, insuring them and purchasing their licensing and paying them a daily rate, but we are looking to expand. I we really do want to grow, but I'm still figuring it out. I mean, I'm a new business owner. I've only been doing it for 2 years. I'm doing my best. Um, yeah, it's tough, but my biggest thing is I want to find when we do hire guides, I want to make sure they're as passionate. I mean, a lot of people are super passionate, but I just want to make sure we're hiring the right people that really care about it, like as much as I do. I mean, I know they're out there, but so yeah, we're
Do
still
y'all
working on a 5-year plan.
do y'all have or do you have quite a bit of competition and pressure from other guide services, or
So not really. I mean, I think there is a couple guide services about 45 minutes to my northeast. But for the most part, no. Seems as Indiana's, they don't really have a whole lot of guides, and that's one thing I'm kind of. I mean, it's a good thing. It's a bad thing. We got a lot of hunters here. We got a lot of waterfowl hunters here. So there's plenty of people that are chasing them just as hard now, whether they're guiding or not. It's kind of low, kind of minimal.
on a state level, do y'all have anything that y'all kind of have to fight with, or any weird laws or regulations that y'all have to mess with?
You can't guide on public land legally. You have to turn over your funds to whoever manages it. So that kind of puts us, if you're trying to guide and make a business out of it, you can only guide legally for money for on private land. And obviously, you got to go about it the right way. You got to make sure your property owners are cool with it. You know, it's smart to carry a liability insurance like we do. Like we have like a $2 million policy in case anything were to happen. You know, that'll kind of help ease the mind of property owners. You know, so yeah, that's the biggest thing is it kind of like we do have quite a bit of public, but if you're guiding, then you can't really utilize that
Yeah.
unless you're buddy hunting. You know, you got some buddies and that's a little different. You can just go out. But some public land around us has like party limits. Like you can only have like 3 per party per spot. You have to go in for a draw, you know. And see, that's another thing. I've had a few clients come out this year. Like I had one guy from Missouri a few weeks ago, and he was telling me that their public is so crazy that you go in for a draw and only X amount of people get picked, and then a lot of the other people they don't have anywhere to go, so they just go home,
Yeah.
which is just crazy. I mean, if that's the way it is, that's unfortunate, but it just stinks for them because I mean, it's not like that here for us. I mean, for the most part, I mean, when you go out in public and you put into a draw, you're gonna get a spot. Now, whether that spot has birds or not, that's a different story. But I mean, you'll still have the opportunity to go out and try to chase them. So,
Yes, sir. Do y'all is your state pretty friendly towards guides, or do they make you jump through quite a bit of hoops to get your license?
no, it's actually pretty easy, believe it or not. You have to put in an application through the Indiana DNR. It costs like $125, and then once a month you have to report how many birds you harvested. So as long as you stay on top of that, then I mean that's really all you got to do. And obviously you got to follow your regulations. You know, make sure all your clients are legal and got plugs in their guns and shooting the right kind of ammunition. But for the most part, it's pretty easy going.
How's
So
the laws for out of state hunters? Is it pretty fair for them, or is it pretty expensive? How does Indiana work for out of state hunters? Is it pretty decent for someone wanting to come
yeah,
there
it's
from out of
pretty
state?
decent. I mean, you guys got to follow the same rules we do, basically. I'm not positive about transportation on Earth, I'd imagine you still have to leave a wing on or whatever
But I
so
mean,
they
like,
can
there's no like
identify it.
blackout days for non-residents or anything like that.
I don't believe so, no.
Okay. I know some states are moving towards blackout days. You know, if you're a non-resident, you can only hunt,
Right.
XYZ days.
Yeah, I've
Kansas,
heard about
or not
that,
Canada,
but
Kansas like that.
I don't think Indiana has implemented anything like that. Not yet, at least. Hopefully they don't.
Do y'all see a lot of out-of-staters coming up there?
Not really, no. Indiana's kind of a slept-on state. I mean, we get pretty good waterfowl. We get pretty good migratory birds coming in, but for the most part, it's not something that's really pushed on social media, so it doesn't really draw a lot of attention. I mean, we have a lot to offer,
Yes,
but
sir.
it's just not one of those states that's publicized, so people don't really book as many trips to come out to Indiana, as far as my knowledge. I mean, there might be, I know there's another guide service down towards Indianapolis. They're a little more established than myself. I mean, they've been doing it for a while. You know, they might have something to say about it, but
Gotcha. Well, what does everyone got to do to kind of find you and get in contact with you for bookings and
so to get in
how
contact
does
with
that work?
me, Stampfowl Outfitters, we do turkey and waterfowl hunting. You can contact me through our phone number, which is 260-348-3623. You can find me on Facebook. You can find me on TikTok. TikTok is stampfowl.outfit and Facebook is Stampfowl Outfitters. Yep.
Now,
So,
do you have a family or anything like that? Or
yes,
do you
sir.
just run it all by yourself? Is your family involved in any of it?
My fiance helps out a little bit with booking and getting like helping me respond to clients depending on what I'm doing. I do have a family. Got my lady. We got 3 kids, and but
Okay.
it's really for the most part it's just me.
Yeah.
She helps with some of it. She's gonna help me. She's currently helping me get our website going, so we have a little bit more of a foundation for our business besides so. Uh, but other than that, it's just me at the moment. Like I said, next year we're probably gonna hire a guide or two. This way we have a couple more of a network. You know, we don't just have me scout. We'll have more people scouting, and it'll just kind of widen our range and allow us more opportunities, allow our clients more opportunities, better experience with us.
That'd be
So
great.
yeah.
What's what's kind of the turnaround time on bookings? Does someone need to? Do you try to do it a season in advance, or how are you looking at that right now with your bookings?
We're actually kind of slow right now. We got a couple guys coming in here in about. We got a couple guys for the second split to do some duck hunting. This weekend I'll have some openings. Next weekend I'll have some openings. We'll have goose opportunities. We'll have duck and goose opportunities in the central zone. And then we got a couple guys booked for late season in January in the central zone to chase some ducks. We still got a few available dates to book. Um, but yeah, for the most part, it's kind of slow right now. I'm trying to still figure out some marketing things so I can get my name out there a little more. You know, and try to keep my clients coming in. Like I said, we got lots to offer. We have a ton of fun. You know, we're always chasing mallards and Canadas and get some divers and some other ducks in there. But yeah,
Sounds like you got a pretty good little setup in that area.
we do, man. It's a lot of fun. I'm thankful for what I got, you know, and Lord willing, you know, we keep putting in our efforts and we'll keep smashing them. So
Awesome. So,
yeah,
do you your phone number or TikTok or Facebook? How's the best way to kind of get a hold of you? Or all three pretty responsive on them?
I'm very responsive on all of them. Yes. If you really want to get a hold of me, I would contact the phone number. That's a direct line to me, and I will reach you the fastest on there. Usually with social media, I'll get on it a few times later in the evening after work and in the morning before work. But uh, response time wise, phone number is your best way to go.
Well,
I think
Cole,
it's
I
still.
appreciate you coming on.
Yeah, big
Yeah,
deal. I want
thanks
to know
for
how
inviting me, guys. It was a lot of
froze up
fun.
y'all were.
Yeah, well, who knows what's gonna happen? Indiana weather's always changing. I mean, we got a pretty bipolar state. It seems like this year it's been a little more consistent, surprisingly, which is good. But I imagine it's gonna warm up again before it starts getting cold. We always have our random warm ups, and then our waters will melt off. Here in a few weeks, we should have another big wave of migratory mallards getting pushed in, a bunch more geese coming in. So yeah, we're excited.
Awesome. Well, man, I appreciate you jumping on here and talking with us tonight. We'll make sure and keep in touch with you and kind of hopefully see how your season goes throughout the year. And
Well, thank you guys for inviting me. It was a ton of fun having being able to, tell you guys a little bit more about myself, about my company, and maybe you guys can come out and we can get you out on some mallards and some geese and whatever else decides to fly in. But
yeah,
super excited.
awesome. Well, thank you again. We appreciate everyone listening this week, and we will see y'all on the next episode of Winging It